Oh, good clear. Are you going to focus on me? There we go. My camera over here was getting all blurry. All right, people, welcome, welcome, welcome. That's still not quite set up to where I want it. There we go. That's much better. What's up, Brad? Welcome to the broadcast. Let me go ahead and get this thing shared out over here the way it needs to get done today. We are going into day 22, y'all. We are wrapping up the final days of the 50 Reasons to Self-Publish. We have today and 3 more days and we'll be done with this series on Reach 50 Reasons to Self-Publish, man. This is awesome. I've had a lot of fun sharing this with y'all. And you know what? I can't wait to see what the next subject is. I don't know what God's going to put on my heart, but we're going to continue to help you build your business, continue to create content, and just share, right? We might go into a little bit more of this personal development stuff as we go into the next series because I haven't done that in a while. Really just dove deep into the transformation that comes about to help you move to your next level. I have not dove into that in a while. Let's get it. Haven't gone into that for a minute, so we may end up having to do that for the next series. But whatever it is, you guys, what you want me to talk about, you can definitely put that in the comments. I'd love to hear your feedback on that. Pin that to the top, and let's get started with the content today. Again, we're on day 22. We're going into reasons number 43 and reason number 44 of the reasons to self-publish right now. So thank you. See you out there in Periscope. Welcome to the broadcast. And y'all, so today we're talking about spin-off content and clarifying your concepts and ideas. So let's go ahead and get right into the content today because I have a lot to talk to you about today, and I want to get it in and get off the live stream, let you go on, continue on with your day, let those thoughts marinate, these ideas percolate in your brain a little bit. You can come back to them when you need to and say, hey, Fortune, remember that thing you said? I want to know more. So the other thing about this is, y'all, we are in the middle of launching the next book here, how to write your first book in less than 4 hours. This is a simple path to generating leads, building a business, and booking speaking engagements. That's the book that we're going to have a soft launch here on Tuesday. For those who want to be part of that launch team, so we're going to go ahead and put into the comments launch team, and I'll add you to that list of people who want to get this advanced reader copies of this book. And also there's a lot of bonuses that comes along with being a part of that launch team that other people are not going to get. They'll have to actually be a part of the course or pay full price for everything. But part of launch team, because you become part of the family, you get some sneak peeks. You get some a special webinar and some other little items that I want to give you as bonuses for saying you believe in me. I believe in you, Fortune. I'm proving it with my 99 cents. For 99 cents, you get part of that virtual team. So put launch team in there, and I'll give you the details here coming out tomorrow. Reminders on Monday, and then what we're going to be doing on Tuesday to go ahead and build a great surge of power behind the launch of this next book. All right, I'd love for you to be on a team, so you can do that here. I'll tell you more details towards the end. So let's get into the content for today, which is going to be awesome, as it always is. So welcome to today's episode. We're on day 22 of the 50 Reasons to Self-Publish right now. And we're going to be talking about reasons number 43 and 44, which are to create spin-off content and to clarify your concepts and ideas. Okay, so let's go right into reason number 43, which is for spin-off content. Now, the way that I teach people to create the outlines for the book, first thing you're going to be doing is going to require you to do a brain dump. You literally take all the information you can about your subject, about your idea, downloaded it through your arm and through a pen or to your fingers onto a piece of paper, right? Or onto your computer screen. Dumping all of your thoughts about a subject onto a sheet of paper is preferable, or onto a post-it note. If you got to use a computer, use a computer. Now this one step is going to create this it's going to be a large database of information that you're going to have all laid out in front of you. People, when they go through this in our workshops, just a small workshop, the little bit of time they give, I tell them, like, in the next 5 minutes, should be able to come up with 20 to 30 ideas. And then as they get started in the beginning, it may like, it takes a little bit of time, a little momentum. But as the mood music starts getting it going and the juices start flowing, the ideas start going. And I cut it off for about 5 minutes. Like, I just got started. And there were about 15, 20 ideas in. So if you spend the time to do a brain dump, take all these ideas down, you'll have a whole page or a whole bunch of post-it notes of ideas around one subject. Okay. Now from this, the next step is to turn it into groups of related ideas and then organize them into a logical sequence. So once you organize them into a logical sequence, you want to put them into an outline. Now, the outline that you're going to have is the one outline you're going to have is going to become a year's worth of content. How does that happen? So let's just say for your subject, you have 7 steps in your process, your signature system that help you create through this whole brain dumping process. So there's more details to help you organize this into a logical system. So if you have 7 steps in your system, and you have about 3 to 4 points for each part of your system. Now you have about 28 ideas. Okay, that's 28 ideas. Now you have 52 weeks in a year. So if you have 28 ideas that you can talk a little bit about one of those ideas each week. I just gave you a year's worth of content just from the outline. Now your videos when you go live don't need to be, because I'm doing 2 topics in this. That we're seeing here live right now. So you're getting 2 topics in this. So these are running about 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. So your content can be a 5 to 7 minute video or 400 or 500 words of content on a blog post about one part of a subject on your outline. Boom. You have a year's worth of content just from the outline. Now the question may be, why would I do that if I'm writing a book? And we're going to come back to that in a second, because your book isn't going into as much detail as you would in that one video or one blog post. Okay, so each week you can talk about that specific point from the book, right? And dive deeper into the topic or go real broad with it and offer multiple viewpoints. So now you're creating all types of content from that outline, and maybe stuff that you cut out of the book, but now you can offer it as bonus material or offer it as content throughout the course of the year because it didn't fit with the flow of the book, but it's still valuable content. Now you have a place to share it through the rest of the year. You can write your blog, you can record a podcast, you can shoot some videos for this, however you want to share it. Even the same thing goes with a book. Now, the thing is what if your readers ask questions about a particular part of your book? The book is finished, they read it, and they have some particular questions about a specific part of the book. Now what do? You turn that particular piece of question and you turn it in your answers into a download. Or that download becomes something that becomes a lead magnet on your website, or it becomes, you add it and you update your manuscript in wherever you're printing it at or offering it at, and now that becomes a download in that section of the book for someone to grab their information, right? To grab their name, their email, and all the contact information. So again, now you've created even more content from the same outline, the same book. Now, the next thing you have is what if your readers ask you a specific questions that you didn't even cover in the book? So you've gone through one topic in the book or one idea, concept in the book, and now that has brought up some other ideas, or things have happened in with the economy or in the industry or just in life in general, and people now have more ideas like, what about this? And now what happens with that content? That becomes your next book. Because your book has helped you create more and more content as you're getting feedback from your readers, you're getting feedback from people that as you deliver the content, you're constantly refining it, and you're constantly staying in front of your readers. Excellent. Got a message on my screen. So just to give you an understand what this means. So look at this. The outline for your book must be narrow and for it to be more impactful, right? So if you want to have more impact on people, make sure your book is narrowed in on one subject, okay? So the limitations of your topics for each book is going to open the door for you creating multiple books in one category. What that means is that you have more spin-off content because you're able to Focus in on one subject for this book. Now, there may have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different ways or different subject pieces of the subject that you want to talk about, but you need to only focus on one idea for this book. And now those other five areas become books themselves. So that's how the limitations of the book actually open up to creating multiple books in one category. So for example, if your first book is about, say, how to travel on a budget, then you have like 3 more spinoffs that I could think of, because I'm not really, that's not my subject, but for off the top of my head, one would be like tips for by location. So you could have books that help you for tips when you're going to Europe or Asia or Africa or South America. What are some tips on those? That is one book. A second book out of that, a spinoff book, is how to plan out your tours and the sightseeing and adventures and things of that nature. How do you create things that you're going to do for your trips when you go on these trips in different locations, right? How do you do all that? The third way of doing is how third book would be to how to pack for your location, right? Depending on what you're going to do, what kind of checklist do you need to create so that you know everything is packed up and you have your items for passports and all that type of stuff that goes along with you traveling. And then what about scheduling time off from school and from work? How do you organize these things in such a way that you're not worried about your home? You have all the stuff done as far as bills being paid and all that type of stuff. All those things going out are part of planning for leaving, having it on a checklist or scheduling all these things, your bills and so forth. That could be a third book. So now that's all 4 of those subjects could be part of one big, massive book. The book of all books for how to travel, right? Now, people don't want to read all that information in one book anymore. They don't want to sit down. They don't have the time to read through that whole book. The crazy thing is you can have a 300-page book and people will spend 2 years reading a 300-page book. But then you turn around and chop that book up into 4 books of 75 pages and they may get it done in 4 weeks. They read 1 book a week. It's crazy, but something about seeing that smaller subsection of a book or that smaller size book of 75 pages, it doesn't seem overwhelming, so they can read it. So you're given the same content as a 300-page book, but you've chopped it into bite-sized pieces and they digest it, they feel good, and they move on to the next book and each of those 4 subjects. So give them specific steps and strategies for one section of the book, and they'll love you for making it easier on them. Okay, so these are your spin-off content. Reason number 43 of the reasons, 50 reasons to self-publish right now. Reason number 44 is to clarify your concepts and ideas. So now this whole process of creating outlines and spin-off context it's going to clarify your processes. All the processes that you use in your business or as your consulting practice, your coaching practice for your services business, it's going to help you to clarify all those processes that you have in your business and how you are successful in it, right? So after editing your book and into something that you're proud of, once you've edited it and it's like, oh, this is awesome. You'll notice that you have communicated your ideas in a way that almost anyone can understand if you've done it properly. You've been trained on how to create a book that's easily digestible for the mass markets, right? There's power in that ability to communicate like that. Writing your book literally makes you better at what you do. You know why each step in your process is there. You know how each step flows into the next step. And you know why each step in the process is there. Now, because you know all this, then you're also going to know how each step affects the readers. And if you've done it correctly, it's going to help them overcome their disbelief about the ideas that you're presenting to them. It's going to help them overcome the disbelief and overcome their personal objections about whether they can even do it and take the step that you're talking about in that section. And it also pushes them past the obstacles they may surface as a result of following your suggestions. This is ideas that I learned from a great marketer on how to help people, how to indoctrinate people into a culture, an idea, and overcoming these beliefs about the product itself, about themselves, their personal beliefs, and about the external. So this is the way I teach it because it makes more sense to me, and it's easier to communicate to you. Okay. So if you're doing this properly, and for each step, each chapter in your book, then you have basically created a large sales letter that's in the form of a book that is entertaining and educational. Okay? Without sounding like a big, massive sales letter. I hate reading those books that are big, long sales letters. You know what I'm talking about? Okay, so the writing process is going to refine your ideas. It's going to refine your ideas and how to communicate them to the point where your readers can explain what you do to other people because they have read your book. Now, the question that comes up here is why would you want to give away the farm, so to speak, when the idea is to generate more business from the book? And that is a great question. But the answer is simple. You don't give away the farm, right? Your book doesn't go into detail about how to do everything. You give readers just enough information, right? You give them enough information to have understanding and to indoctrinate them into your belief systems and adapt your perspectives as their own. Okay? From there, your readers can do the hard work on their own. They can go out onto the internets, and they can go read into each particular step and try to figure out for themselves. Because at the end of the day, the information is already out there, regardless of what subject you're talking on. People can go find it on the internet. Okay, and I don't want to take it away from any of your personal life experience, your decades of experience, that is very, very valuable. I'm not taking anything away from that, but realize they can still go onto anyone can go to the internet and go find the information that you've packaged up into a beautiful book. Okay. Don't be mad about that. You know that you changed a life. If you're going about transformation of someone's life, if they go find it and do it on themselves, fine. You gave them the impetus, you gave them the start, you gave them the ideas for them to transform their lives, and that's way more important than them coming to you to get the answers. Okay? Now the other readers who you're not the do-it-yourselfers or who are too cheap to pay for your coaching or consulting or your services, these readers will have a hunger for more. They're going to ask you what's their next step as they're reading the book or as they finish their book. So the question is there a training or webinar? Is that my next step? Is there a course? Is that my next step? Did your book tell them what to do next? Your book should be telling them what to do next. Now, when your book is set up properly, you have at least a year's worth of weekly content from one book outline. Okay, you can break down a piece of that line and share it as a series of posts. You can take quotes from your book and share them on social media. You can highlight aha moments from your readers who send emails to you or send messages to you about your book. You can turn your ebook into an audiobook, and then in the audiobook add commentary and some side notes that you kind of cut out from your ebook. Now you can add them in as bonus materials for the audiobook because you're just having a conversation with your listener. Your content is easy to create because you did all the hard work when you did all the hard work when you researched and you edited your book. Now, in communicating your thoughts and ideas become simple. It's a simple conversation, and during that conversation, you're definitely going to reference a section of your book. Okay? That is what you call a shameless plug. And I'm going to give you an example. If you don't already have a process for creating your book in such a way that it leads people to want to have more of you and more of what you offer, then I have written a book that goes through the process of how to do that. It's called How to Write Your First Book in Less Than 4 Hours. See what I did there? That is an example of a shameless plug. You can go ahead and grab that book for yourself, right? We're in pre-release stage right now. And speaking of pre-release, I'm gonna move into this next section here and wrap it up for today. Is that I'm gonna ask you who wants to join this launch team right now, because this book is launching. How to Write Your First Book in Less Than 4 Hours. And I'm looking for about 50 members on this launch team right now, so that we can go ahead and push this book out and get it out to more readers and help change more lives, build more successful businesses, and help more people who have messages and products and services that they want to get and share out with the world, but don't have a viable way of doing it. And I believe a book is one of the best ways of doing that, if not the best way of sharing your ideas with the world and with your market, especially in this day and age of information marketing, of content marketing. What better way to show your authority and your expertise in your subject than by having a book? Okay, so what you need some help doing that, and I want some help, and I'd love to have your help to become a part of this launch team to get this book pushed out. So if you want to be part of that team, you want to be part of this movement of getting out more and more books for people who really need to have their message shared, put launch team in the comments, and I'll be sure to reach out to you and let you know what becoming part of launch team means. And to talk about more of the bonuses you're going to get. Private webinar for all of my launch team. Some other bonus books on overcoming procrastination. Some other content that's going to come around with that, and some other discounted offers for helping you to write your own book as a part of the launch team. So again, put launch team in the comments if you want to become a part of that. And if you know someone who needs some help with writing the book, please go ahead and share this message with them. They need to hear these ideas that we just shared today to help them, give them a little bit of more motivation to go out and share their message with the world and start building a business around that. That being said, this has been day 22 of the 50 reasons to self-publish. We talked about spin-off content and clarifying your concepts and ideas. Go back and listen to it again. If you need to really dive deeper into this, pause it, record it, whatever you need to do to get this information into your brain, into your system, and start using it to build your business. With that being said, you can be, you can do, you can have anything you want in this world. You've just got to believe you can live a life of no doubts. It's just blessings, and I will show you how right here. And for all you no doubters out there, all you part of No Doubt Nation, you know what our mantra is. I want you to say it loudly and do it proudly and make life happen every day. And God bless. I'll talk to you later.